Hello and welcome to the Insights and Motivation YouTube podcast. Yes, this is an AI-generated content, but remember, there was a human at the beginning of it, creating and curating this material with care and purpose. I request you, dear listener, to step aside from any bias and listen to the message itself. Take the message, not the messenger. That is the key. The same is true for the rest of the playlists and podcasts on this channel, each designed to inspire thought, dialogue, and transformation. Now let me begin the participation and representation in schools. Democracy cannot function without representation, and schools are no different. If education is meant to prepare children for citizenship, then students must be given opportunities to experience representation in action. This means not token councils with ceremonial roles, but student parliaments, advisory boards, and committees with real decision-making power. When students are included in shaping their own environment, they begin to understand that democracy is not just taught, it is practiced. Why is this principle necessary? Because participation creates ownership. A student who has no voice in how their school operates will see education as something done to them, not something done with them. But when they are invited to co-create events, contribute to policies, or influence curriculum choices, they shift from passive recipients to active stakeholders. This fosters pride, responsibility, and engagement that cannot be manufactured through grades alone. The advantages of participation are powerful. Students who represent their peers develop leadership skills and empathy as they learn to balance diverse perspectives. Those who take part in committees or councils become problem solvers rather than bystanders. And all students, when they see their peers influencing decisions, internalize the lesson that change is possible through dialogue and representation. In the long run, this builds a society of citizens who do not wait passively for leaders to act, but who step forward to participate. Sadly, many schools today treat student participation as symbolic. Student councils are often restricted to organizing annual events or decorating notice boards, with little influence on real school policies. This is tokenism, involvement without power. It teaches students the wrong lesson, that representation is a showpiece, not a mechanism for real change. The result is disillusionment. Students stop taking these structures seriously because they sense that their voices are politely heard but quietly ignored. The consequences of ignoring genuine representation are visible in society today. We see adults who are disengaged from civic life, who skip voting, or who distrust institutions because they never experienced authentic participation in their formative years. A generation raised without representation in schools is more likely to become a generation silent in democracies. This is how apathy takes root. But when schools embrace representation fully, the effect is transformative. Imagine student advisory boards that contribute to shaping school policies on discipline, or curriculum committees where learners can suggest electives, or participatory budgeting where students decide how to allocate part of the school's resources. These practices not only improve school culture, but also teach students how real governance works, with negotiations, compromises, and shared responsibility. Participation also deepens respect. When students see teachers and administrators willing to listen, they learn to trust authority figures. When adults share power, they model humility and collaboration. This creates a virtuous cycle where students give back respect in the same measure that it is given to them. In this way, participation becomes not a challenge to authority, but a reinforcement of its legitimacy. If we continue to ignore participation, schools will remain hierarchical spaces that produce compliant workers rather than active citizens. But if we embrace it, we will raise a generation of leaders, innovators, and reformers who know that their voices matter. They will not only navigate society, they will shape it. And that is the deeper purpose of education, not simply to prepare children for jobs, but to prepare them for democracy. The classroom, therefore, must be a training ground for representation. Every committee, council, or collaborative decision is a rehearsal for real life. If schools create these opportunities with sincerity, they plant in students the habit of speaking up, listening deeply, and taking responsibility for the collective. That is how education moves beyond instruction and becomes preparation for life itself. Did this podcast resonate with you? Are you an educator or a higher authority with the ability to influence educational policy and reform? If so, I encourage you to share this podcast as widely as possible within your connections, and do share and subscribe to this channel. This channel has lots of playlists and educational, psychological content with a focus on how to improve all systems of education, corporate culture, and many such topics. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for our next podcast.